It's not even locked, man. That's what the kid shouted, right before my Lamborghini turned into a $30,000 hood ornament for Mrs. Thompson's fence at 4 in the morning. The best part? I'm the one catching heat for it, and not from the kid. No, from his mom, Linda Hart, who just so happens to be the president of our HOA. You ever feel like everyone else has rehearsed a script where you're the bad guy? That's where I was standing, jaw clenched, staring at my own wrecked car, and knowing deep down something way bigger was going on, something I wasn't seeing yet. So there I am. Dawn just breaking, mist curling around the wreckage like we're filming some bargain basement crime drama. And what do I see? Brandon Hart, still wearing yesterday's hoodie, acting like I personally crashed my own Lambo just to inconvenience his morning. Officer Lewis is scribbling notes while Brandon starts spinning a tale about how my excessive display of wealth is to blame. Because apparently, if you own something nice in this neighborhood, you're just begging for trouble. Linda materializes beside her son in that same power blazer she wears to every HOA board meeting, spouting off about community responsibility. She actually says the words, "When luxury vehicles attract this kind of behavior, the owner bears some accountability for community safety." I swear, I could see Officer Lewis mentally filing that under "not my problem" as he kept jotting down notes. Brandon shifts his weight, nervously glancing at the smart streetlight, one with a QR code for reporting issues and, more importantly, a camera. I'll make a note to check that later. The car wasn't even locked, Brandon mumbles, which makes no sense because I always double-check. That's not paranoia. That's just common sense when you park a Lambo in a cul-de-sac full of minivans. His story unravels in pieces. Supposedly, he was walking home from a friend's house at 4:30 a.m., saw my car, tried the handle, and it just opened. So, of course, he took it for a quick spin to see what all the fuss was about. Next thing, he loses control, and my pride and joy becomes modern art. In Mrs. Thompson's yard, the whole thing sounds rehearsed, and when I press Officer Lewis to document every inch of the damage, I mention if that fence borders a city easement. This is a municipal safety issue now. Linda glares at me for daring to think 2 steps ahead. Thing is, this neighborhood's quiet, but not that quiet, and I know exactly how that car works. You don't hotwire a modern Lambo, no way, no how. You need the fob or the app. When I push for a formal investigation into how the vehicle was accessed, Linda tries to wave it off, but Lewis listens. Brandon insists the car wasn't locked, but his words are brittle, and the more he talks, the more his story falls apart. He claims he was cutting through yards to get home, which, sure, makes total sense for a 19-year-old who's never spoken to half the neighbors here. Then Mrs. Thompson steps out, giving Linda a stare cold enough to fog up the windows. She tells Officer Lewis that Brandon was snooping around last week, asking way too many questions about when folks come and go, claiming he was conducting a neighborhood security assessment for the HOA. Now, what 19-year-old does that? Not one that's just making mistakes. When Linda tries to brush it off as routine business, Lewis keeps writing, and Brandon's eyes start darting, looking for an exit or maybe a rescue. Lewis inspects the crash, noticing that the tire marks suggest someone was hauling, not just creeping along, and the evidence says reckless, not inexperienced. All the while, Linda is trying to put everything on me, talking about community standards, while I'm mentally adding up the deductible I'll need to pay. But here's where it gets strange. Officer Lewis asks Brandon for details about his supposed walk from the shopping center, routes, landmarks, timing. Brandon stumbles, descriptions don't match, and Linda keeps interrupting whenever the questions get specific, steering things back to generic statements about youthful mistakes. It's like she's coaching him on the fly. But the biggest twist comes when I check my car's digital logs. The Lambo tracks everything, door unlocks, valet mode, you name it. And at 4:18 a.m., the mobile key was used, except my phone was in my room, plugged in. Then, at 4:20, valet mode gets activated, but only from inside the car. Suddenly, it's clear. Whoever did this had access not just to my driveway, but to the admin controls of our whole neighborhood. Next, I pull the community gate logs. Every entry requires a code. And at 4:15 a.m., a management override was used, the kind only board members have. The car's app log and the gate's entry record line up perfectly, and I start to realize this wasn't just a stupid joyride. This was planned, inside and out. Then comes the kicker. Certified letter from the HOA shows up that afternoon. Violation notice for excessive luxury vehicle display, signed by Linda and dated during the investigation. Now, either Linda is the world's fastest bureaucrat, or she's got something to hide. The next day, I get the city's camera footage. Brandon, plain as day, climbs out of my car right after the crash and immediately calls someone, totally calm, like he's clocking out from a shift. Not 30 seconds later, a light blue Honda Civic, Linda's car, rolls by. And a minute after that, the gate logs show the same override code being used again. Coincidence? Give me a break. And if you think it ends there, you're not ready for the real fireworks. When the insurance adjuster comes, I mention the weird digital logs, and he's relieved. If it's theft, not collision, it's an easier claim. I start noticing strange cars around my house. People taking pictures. Could be more HOA drama, or someone getting ready for the next move. But then the tech hired by my insurance company finds a gray box with an antenna hidden in my garage. A signal booster with a vendor sticker installed by, you guessed it, an HOA contractor, signed off by Linda. Not only does this thing let you relay a key fob signal from inside my house, but it's also hardwired into my wall. Fire marshal comes out, documents the safety violation, and suddenly this isn't just a car theft anymore. It's a criminal operation enabled by the HOA president. Brandon's fingerprints turn up on the hardware. Linda's authorization is all over the paperwork, and the technician finds a second device, a signal recorder that lets you clone key fob transmissions. It's sophisticated, professional stuff, not something you buy off Amazon for a prank. Rebecca, my lawyer, lays it all out. With Linda's signature on the work order, the HOA's insurance is void for criminally facilitated property modifications, and now Linda's personally liable for my car, the neighbor's fence, legal fees, everything. She violated safety codes, HOA procedures, insurance policies, and city law, all to cover up her son's crime. The fallout is spectacular. Bank reps, city inspectors, insurance adjusters, and the fire marshal all show up in the same afternoon to coordinate the investigation, remove the illegal devices, and make it very clear, when you abuse authority, there's nowhere to hide once the system catches on. Linda tries to argue it was routine maintenance. City inspector reads her the citation. Routine doesn't include electronic surveillance in private garages. Brandon tries to minimize. But the evidence is overwhelming, and the whole community turns out to watch Linda's authority dissolve in real time. Her assets are frozen, insurance canceled, and new board elections are called. Before she can finish her next HOA newsletter, courtroom's packed when Brandon pleads out to theft and conspiracy. Linda faces even stiffer charges: conspiracy, safety violations, insurance fraud. The judge makes it clear, this isn't about one kid's mistake. It's about using power to break the rules and then blame the victim. In the settlement room, Rebecca refuses to settle for anything less than full accountability, and Linda ends up owing over $40,000, resigning from the board, and losing her reputation, probably for good. By the time it's over, the whole community knows what happened, and new rules are in place. No more secret projects, no more board members authorizing anything without written homeowner consent and oversight. I drive my repaired car past Linda's house. One last time, watching her and Brandon load up a moving truck. I don't wave, I don't gloat. That's not what this was about. It was about showing that authority means nothing without accountability. So here's the open question. Was justice done, or was it just business as usual with a little extra paperwork? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you've got your own wild HOA story or thoughts about how to keep these folks honest, drop a like or subscribe so we can make sure nobody gets railroaded in their own driveway again. Stay sharp, neighbors.